you have that knowledge, it really helps when you're designing clothes for your doll. You are designing your doll. Okay, so now what we've done is the waist, and we've done the seam line from the top of the waist to the inner thigh. Now what I want to do is I want to take her or him or a lady, it doesn't matter. This can apply to any doll. You want to go from the inner thigh and come around this way. Okay. If you hear a palm in the background, the Chiweenie is probably aggravating her. Okay, now I'm going to do the same exact thing. Do you see where my tape comes together? Now, if I wanted this to be more blousey, you know, to come out more, and I think that's what I'm going to do, then I'm going to add to this. And so what we're going to do right now is I'm going to mark this where it comes together. I'm going to pull it off. Okay, now I know that 1, 2, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 13/8. Okay, so it's 2 inches and 13/8. Okay, that would be pretty skin tight on her, and I don't want that. I want that to come out a little bit. So, let's see. On the inside diameter of the thigh, that is 2 and, what did I say, 13/8 inches. Okay. Now I'm pretty sure it's the same on the other leg, but let's see. Because in doll making, you know, I might have wound her 2, 3, you know, a couple of times more than on the other side than I did. So let's just see where we're at. So now I'm coming around the leg. Okay. And I usually just hold it with my finger and I look at it and count. You can mark it if you want. However, you know, just make sure you can erase your marks because it'll mess up your tape eventually. So this is 2 inches and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So it was 1/8 off, which is pretty good. You know, I feel pretty good about that because I kind of eyeballed it. So the other thigh, now that was the right thigh. So on the right, and write an R in parentheses, thigh diameter. It's 2 inches and 12/8. Okay. Now I know that would make them really skin tight, and I don't want that. So I'm going to increase it. So I'm going to draw parentheses on each side of my measurements that I created, that I measured. And I'm going to put the size that I want them to be. Okay? So now, let's see if it's, and do this with your tape measure. So 2, and it came to here, let's see. I'm thinking I want them to be 3 1/4 inches. So 3 1/4 inches. And I feel like that would give it enough leg room that they would look comfortable. You know, you don't want your doll to be, especially if they're a little kid, you want them to have a little kid type clothing. So if we were doing a sexy lady, we might not do that. So now then, so now we have the left and right thigh diameter, and we know how much we're going to increase it. So, and that's up to you. You know, that's personal preference. Everybody has their different idea about how wide a short should be at the bottom. Okay, now let's talk about, we have the seam line, the inseam. We know how the waistline, how large that's going to be. And now we need to measure from here, from the waistline to here. Okay? So put the word outer thigh. Okay? And we're going to measure from the waistline to the bottom of the shorts. Okay? So I'm going to go from the waistline to, and I want her shorts to be right around where we measured her thigh. But since it's going to be a little bigger, a little bloomier, you know, I might make them a little lower. Let's see. So from her waistline going over her hip, I think I'm going to make them 2 inches, which would come to here. Okay. So I'm going to say 2 inches. So 2 inches. Okay. So now we have her waistline measured. We have her inseam from front to back. We have the diameter of each thigh. We have the right thigh diameter. Let's see, we did it. And we have the outer thigh waistline to the bottom of the shorts, which we decided on 2 inches, right? Okay. Now, that is what I need to now draw my shorts pattern in according to her body. Okay? So now what I'm going to do is, if I were by myself alone and not doing this, I would turn my box light on, but I'm not going to do that since since you need to see this. What I'm going to do is I take my my sheet, my design sheet now is what this is, and I have creased it and folded it over. Now this is all my information, okay? Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw her body and trace it around. And I'm going to turn this and see if you can see what I'm doing here. Okay, so I'm going to trace her body. And it's not for measurement's sake. It's that what we're going to do is track the measurements that we took. And what better way to do that than tracing the body you're working on. So I'm going to go all the way down her legs just to show you what you can do. So now I'm also going to trace her arms, her shoulders, okay, and I'm going to bring her neck out because it all matters. Okay, now what you see is a drawing of the body that we've created. Now I'm going to take my scissors, and sometimes I just tear it. Depends on whether I'm feeling confident in that, but it's better to cut it. I'm going to cut my paper in half. Okay, now I'm going to put my drawn out body on one side and my information on the other side. And you can do it either way. It depends, I guess, on whether you're right or left-handed. Doesn't matter. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my body over here. And I know that the waistline is 3.5 inches. So I'm going to take my